The entire diner fell silent the moment the terrified waitress wrapped her arms around a complete stranger and kissed him in front of everyone. Coffee cups stopped halfway to people's lips. Plates froze in midair. 3 men in expensive black suits rushed toward them with panic written across their faces, while every customer expected violence to erupt. But instead of pushing her away, the dangerous-looking man closed his eyes and returned the kiss. No one in that room knew that the stranger she had just saved was one of the most feared mafia bosses in America. Before we continue this unforgettable story, if you believe kindness and second chances can change someone's life, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Moral Stories. It truly helps us bring more emotional stories like this to you. And we'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from today? Tell us in the comments below. Harper Collins had never imagined that one impulsive decision would change her life forever. At 28, she worked double shifts at Rosewood Diner, a small family-owned restaurant outside Chicago. She wasn't rich, glamorous, or powerful. She was simply a plus-sized woman with a warm smile, a heart too kind for her own good, and endless responsibilities. Her father had passed away years earlier, leaving behind medical bills that nearly destroyed the family. Her younger brother was attending college thanks to Harper's sacrifices, and every dollar she earned disappeared before she ever had the chance to enjoy it. That afternoon had begun like every other busy lunch rush until she noticed something strange. A tall, handsome man entered alone wearing an expensive charcoal suit. His calm expression stood out from the noisy crowd, but what truly caught Harper's attention was the fear in his eyes as he repeatedly glanced toward the diner entrance. Seconds later, 3 men dressed almost identically walked inside wearing dark sunglasses despite the bright daylight. They scanned every table with cold precision. Harper had spent enough years serving customers to recognize when someone was running from danger. The handsome stranger quietly lowered his head, pretending to read the menu, but his hands trembled ever so slightly. Without understanding why, Harper's instincts told her he wasn't a criminal looking for trouble. He looked like someone desperately trying to survive. As the 3 suited men approached his booth, Harper acted before fear could stop her. She hurried over, grabbed the stranger by his jacket, wrapped both arms around his neck, and kissed him passionately as if they had been lovers reunited after years apart. The entire diner gasped. The suited men immediately stopped walking. One of them slowly lowered his earpiece while another whispered something into his sleeve. They exchanged confused looks before respectfully stepping backward instead of forward. Only then did Harper pull away, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. She nervously apologized, explaining that she thought someone dangerous was following him and she wanted to distract them. The stranger stared into her eyes for several silent seconds before smiling for the first time in what seemed like years. Then the impossible happened. The 3 intimidating men walked toward him, lowered their heads respectfully, and addressed him as boss. Harper's heart nearly stopped. She hadn't saved an innocent businessman. She had just kissed one of the most powerful mafia leaders in the country. His name was Roman DeLuca, a man whose reputation terrified criminals and corrupt politicians alike. Newspapers painted him as ruthless, while law enforcement considered him almost untouchable. Yet standing only inches away, Harper saw something entirely different. She saw exhaustion, loneliness, and a sadness hidden beneath years of carefully built walls. Roman quietly explained that rival organizations had been tracking him all morning after a failed peace negotiation. Entering the crowded diner had been his only chance to disappear for a few precious minutes. Harper's unexpected kiss had convinced everyone watching that he was simply meeting someone special rather than hiding. Instead of thanking her with money, Roman asked one simple question. Why would a complete stranger risk herself for someone she didn't even know? Harper admitted she couldn't explain it. She simply couldn't stand watching someone look terrified while everyone else ignored it. That answer stayed with Roman long after he left. Days passed before a sleek black car appeared outside the diner. Harper's co-workers immediately panicked as several suited security guards stepped out. Roman entered alone carrying nothing but a small bouquet of white lilies. He thanked Harper properly and quietly offered financial help for her struggling family. She refused. Not because she didn't need it, but because she didn't want kindness to become a business transaction. For perhaps the first time in his life, someone valued him more as a person than as a source of power or wealth. Roman began visiting the diner regularly, always sitting in the same booth. They talked about ordinary things, favorite childhood memories, family traditions, dreams they had abandoned, and the loneliness that success often hides. Harper discovered that Roman had entered the criminal world after losing both parents as a teenager and spending years protecting his younger sister from violent enemies. Every decision he had ever made came from survival, not greed. Little by little, Harper became the only person who spoke to Roman without fear. But kindness often comes with a price. One evening, a rival gang learned about Harper. They kidnapped her while she was closing the diner, believing she could be used against Roman. Bound inside an abandoned warehouse, Harper expected the worst. Instead of crying for herself, she worried that Roman would walk straight into a trap trying to rescue her. And he did. Ignoring every warning from his security team, Roman entered the warehouse alone. He offered himself in exchange for Harper's freedom. The rival leader laughed, believing no powerful mafia boss would sacrifice everything for an ordinary waitress. He was wrong. Roman laid down his weapon without hesitation. The rival gang underestimated something far stronger than fear. Loyalty. The moment Harper was released, Roman's trusted men surrounded the building. Without firing unnecessary shots, they rescued both of them and arrested the rival group's leaders through information secretly provided to federal investigators. Roman had spent months gathering evidence, hoping to end the violence instead of continuing it. That experience changed him forever. He realized Harper had shown him a future beyond endless bloodshed. Inspired by her compassion, Roman dismantled much of his criminal empire, turning legitimate businesses into companies that created jobs in struggling neighborhoods. The transition was painful, dangerous, and expensive, but for the first time, he slept peacefully. Harper remained beside him through every setback. She reminded him daily that a person's past may explain who they became, but it never has to decide who they remain. Years later, the old diner still displayed the booth where everything had started. Customers often smiled at the framed photograph of the waitress who accidentally kissed a stranger to save his life. Few knew the entire story, but everyone understood its lesson. Sometimes the smallest act of courage changes not only one life, but thousands of others connected to it. If Harper had chosen to look away that afternoon, fear would have won. Instead, compassion changed the destiny of a man everyone else had already judged. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that kindness can transform even the hardest soul, please like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps Moral Stories continue bringing meaningful stories to millions of viewers around the world. Special request, comment below, do you believe one act of kindness can truly change someone's entire life? We'd love to read your thoughts. As Harper and Roman walked out of the diner hand in hand years later, neither of them remembered the fear that had brought them together. They remembered only one unforgettable moment when a simple kiss, born from pure compassion, became the beginning of redemption, hope, and a love that proved even the darkest hearts can find their way back into the light.